The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. And oh my goodness, we have some massive things to discuss today. We see here on the screen from Wall Street Silver that Blackrock is beginning to state that a Fed pivot is likely. This was reported by Charles Gasparino, and this is something I've been telling all of you for an extremely long time. I believe a pivot and the Fed raising interest rates is going to occur. And this is an example of someone that believes the exact same thing. Frank Gustra, talking about the Fed pivot. He stated since 2009 and for 15 years, the Fed cannot raise interest rates. It's mathematically impossible. They can't unwind the balance sheet. It's mathematically impossible. And they convinced the marketplace that time and time again they would raise interest rates. They tried it in 16 and it failed. They've had much heat now for being wrong. The Fed's been wrong for 20 years. They've had so much heat, they're now trying to improve their image by talking down inflation as opposed to actually reducing it. But this is what's going to happen. They cannot raise interest rates to 4%. They'll break everything if they get that high. I believe with an emergency Fed meeting and what happened with the Bank of England recently, the Federal Reserve is about to pivot. Inflation is going to begin ramping up yet again. And if you guys know that the Cbdc endgame is what they want, you understand that they need inflation and eventually negative interest rates to really make the Cbdc system happen. Negative rates, accompanied with the birth of central bank digital currencies, will be the new system. That'll be the transition, and that's how they get all of you. This is not something we can get out of. It's either raise rates or collapse the economy and go into a recession, or it's lower rates and have death by 1,000 cuts through inflation. Welcome to the scenario at play. And if you know that inflation is going to be rampant, you understand that these digital assets are going to play a role in your wealth protection. In addition, I have this clip from Raoul Pol discussing what he thinks is about to happen to the crypto market, as well as the macro, as the dollar is weakening and as the potential for a Fed pivot is growing more likely by the day.
I've been looking for the markets to turn. October is the month of crashes, but it also tends to be turnaround October. It's when lows get put in, often generational lows, particularly in times of stress. And bang on signal, the Federal Reserve starts saying, hey, we may not go as far as you're expecting. I think that's a really interesting juncture. Now, it's a bit early to tell, but crypto exploded off the lows, and I think that's an important signal. Let's see if it holds, because we've had a few of these false hopes before. Bond yields have started falling, and the dollar started falling, all kind of as expected. So, look, I think there's hope out there that we're going to see some easing of these conditions. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, and next year is still a really complicated year. It's really complicated because we don't know if the economy comes back at some point, what happens to oil prices. Do they go much higher? There's a lot of unknowns out there, and I'm going to do my best to try and navigate them. Hey, also, if you want to know more about this stuff, pop over to Real Vision. It's only $1 for a free trial, and you're going to get tons of information that's going to help you navigate this. So it's definitely worth doing that. But meanwhile, I'll be back on Instagram with updates as soon as I see them. But so far, it's looking okay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we see Raoul Pol stating that things are beginning to look up, and he's excited about the bounce off the bottom the crypto market has had. We have to look at different stocks. Meta, Amazon, they've both had rough weeks. These are things that show me that we're in transitionary times. There is no doubt in my mind that a financial collapse is coming. However, right now in the world today, we're in a moment where I believe the crypto market and select altcoins are going to rise in value. In the book, The Essays of Warren Buffett, one of the most important books I've ever read, but one of the most boring books I've ever read. On page 81, I remember it stating vividly, most people only do some research when learning how to buy a stock. Some people research on when to sell, but almost no one learns how to own their stock. Over the past couple years with crypto, the same thing could be said. And here, right now, is your opportunity to learn how to sell. We're on the precipice of an altcoin season. Specifically, I believe on the precipice of XRP's price rise. We haven't seen it reach its all-time high yet. We see XLS20 coming soon. We see the potential settlement of this case coming soon. We see Flare Network getting ready for January now. All of these things lead into a timeline of continued value and adoption as elections are approaching and Congress is still in the stock market. We have all the grounding indicators that show me that the classes are preparing for an uptrend. Learning how to take profits is what has changed my life and has allowed me to travel the world freely at any time I please. Boom, here, there, everywhere. I've been here since 2016 and I've learned the harshest of lessons during that time. But what I'm preaching moving forward is the importance of actually executing and making money. Over the past couple years as an XRP content creator, I've taught all of you how to buy and own cryptos. Now, I fear that many people have unrealistic expectations of what XRP may do and also what other cryptos may do. And while personally speaking, I believe that astronomical values are possible, I also know that one can take profit and still believe that the price can go higher. It's all about how much you sell at certain prices, and it's all about how much money you can make in the immediate short term to better yourself. The profit you take will be your reward for yourself. You earn something for the wait. Don't be a sucker and wait for higher prices while institutions are shorting your beliefs and ideals. Change your life. Take profits, but also stay in the game for the long term. And I know this is confusing for some people. I know you may have not thought about this yet, but that's why I've created a 3-part exit strategy that I'm sharing with all of you. Currently, it's available on my OnlyFans down in the description below, as I've posted part 1. Part 1 of my exit strategy is the millionaire exit strategy mindset. And it's the bullet points you need to go over as an individual in this current economic climate to best execute on crypto profit taking. This exit strategy is also available on the university. And for those of you that watch my YouTube channel every day, I have to stress, don't worry. I will be telling each and every one of you when I'm taking profits live on YouTube as the bull market continues. But the reason I've posted this complete 3-part exit strategy behind a paywall is so that you take it extremely seriously and understand that it's an education that has extreme value. Preparation is key in 2022. And preparation will make you recession proof. Now, as you keep all of that in your minds, I hope to see all of you signing up and mentally bracing for what's about to happen, as I believe the DXY is reversing to the downwards direction, meaning that risk on assets are going to begin getting their moment in the sun. The Fed is beginning to sound more dovish on interest rate hikes, and of course, because they can't keep raising rates. At the same time, in the UK, Sunak, the new prime minister, is bullish on CBDCs. They're passing legislation to help crypto adoption in the UK and internationally as a whole. And if you don't think CBDCs are their endgame, I'm going to play you this brief clip confirming exactly what I'm saying.
The third way we think CBDC can improve financial inclusion is through what we call programmability. That is, CBDC can allow government agencies and private sector players to program, to create smart contracts, to allow targeted policy functions. For example, welfare payment. For example, consumption coupon. For example, food stamp. By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized. For example, for food. So this potential programmability can help government agencies to precisely target their support to those people who need support. So that way can also improve financial inclusion. Of course, I want to end with a caveat, because CBDC is not a panacea. CBDC cannot solve every challenge in financial inclusion. There are some aspects of financial inclusion is not related to technology. For example, financial literacy, digital literacy. So CBDC has to work with other policies together to try to improve financial inclusion.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you still think that central bank digital currencies are a conspiracy theory, this speech by the IMF Deputy Managing Director and former People's Bank of China Deputy Governor Bo Li proves it's not a conspiracy, it's an agenda. Let me tell you exactly how things are going to happen. Universal basic income will come after a financial crisis makes everyone broke. Negative interest rates will eventually usher in central bank digital currencies. They're going to pivot, and you cannot be caught flat-footed. Anticipate their agenda by using their words against them, and make money as your protest. Understand that XRP will be the critical infrastructure that this CBD system will be built on. And know that Ripple's Q3 report continues to confirm that we're growing every single day. Ripple continues to buy more XRP. Ripple continues to fight the good fight. And I'm going to cap off this video with Crypto Mason reviewing this Ripple Q3 report, as all of you should give him a follow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
XRP is not centralized. Q3 2022 XRP markets report has came out by Ripple. Here are some key takeaways and things that you need to know. First thing is that Ripple's XRP holdings are now below 50% for the total outstanding supply for the first time ever. As we know, one of the problems with XRP was that Ripple, the company, held a lot of the supply, but now officially that is under 50%. Another thing to highlight here is that Ripple only operates 4 out of 130 plus validator nodes on the XRP ledger. Therefore, you are a complete moron if you are saying XRP is centralized in any way. Another key thing is on-demand liquidity went live in Brazil, and Ripple continued buying back XRP off the market. This quarter, they bought 310 million worth versus last quarter with 408 million. These purchases only account for 0.50% of the global XRP volume.